This video is going to consist of the examples we did in class for the chain rule. So remember, the chain rule, again, the short definition in layman's terms is the derivative of the whole thing times the derivative of the inside. So starting off here, we're going to use the power rule, and we know that the 5 power rule comes down, so we're going to have 5, leave the inside alone, 4x squared plus 2, subtract power by 1, and then we're going to multiply by the derivative of the inside. The derivative of the inside is going to wind up being 8x. And cleaning this up, your first derivative will take the 5 and the 8x. We'll get 40x multiplied by the quantity of 4x squared plus 2 to the 4th. And there's our first example of using just the basic chain rule. And now we're going to go over to another example here, because this one's going to involve the chain rule plus the product rule here. So we have a product rule and chain rule all in one right here. And the first part of it, the calculus, is going to be pretty easy as long as we follow the rules that we've done with the product rule and chain rule. But the algebra afterward gets kind of tricky. So our first derivative here, starting with the product rule, so it's going to be first, which is the 4x squared, times the derivative of the second. So now here's our chain rule. So we're going to have 4, 3x plus 4 cubed times 3. So there's our first derivative of the second plus the second. So we're going to have the quantity of 3x plus 4 to the 4th times the derivative of the first, which is going to be 8x. Now, there's the calculus. Now, the algebra from there to clean this up, we're going to take the 4x squared, the 4, and the 3, multiply that all out. So 4 times 3 gives you 12. 12 times 4 is going to give us 48x squared times 3x plus 4 cubed plus, just put that 8x in front, 3x plus 4 to the 4th. Now, we got a factor because we have an addition going on here. So between the 48 and the 8, we can take out an 8x. Okay, and then between the 3x plus 4, the 3x plus 4 here, we could take out the lowest power. So we're going to have a 3x plus 4 cubed. Now, what does that leave us after we factor out? Well, that's going to leave us a 6x here, because 8x times 6x gives us the 48x squared. And we already took out 3 of them, so there's no more left there. We already took the 8x out here, so that only leaves us with one quantity of 3x plus 4 left over. So again, double checking in our head here, this first term times 6x is give us this first term. This term times 3x plus 4 is going to give us this second term here. And now we can combine like terms here in the middle. So our final simplified derivative is going to be 8x times a quantity of 3x plus 4 cubed times 6x and 3x is going to give us 9x plus 4 right here. And there's our simplified derivative. So now we're going to look at another example. Okay, and this one is going to involve the quotient rule and chain rule. Okay, so remembering again how the quotient rule starts, that always starts in the bottom. So we're going to have 4x plus 1 to the 4th times the derivative of the top, which is going to be 3x squared, minus the top, x cubed, derivative of the bottom. So here's our chain rule for the bottom, 4x plus 1 cubed times, excuse me there, times the derivative of the inside, which is 4. Okay, all over bottom squared. So we have 4x plus 1 to the 4th. Now, cleaning all of this up here, we're going to have 3x squared times the quantity of 4x plus 1 to the 4th minus, now we're going to have the 4 times the 4 times the x cubed. That's going to give us 16x cubed times 4x plus 1 cubed. And again, this is all over that bottom that was squared. I forgot to square it here. So that's going to give us the 4x plus 1 to the 8th. Now, in order to simplify this, we need to be able, because of the subtraction here, factor out a quantity here of 4x plus 1, and we're going to factor out the cubic because that's the lowest degree. So when we take that out, we're going to have 4x plus 1 cubed. And we have left over 3x squared times 4x plus 1 minus 16x cubed. And that's all over, again, the bottom here, which was 4x plus 1 to the 8th. So now we're able to cancel. The cube term is gone, and this comes down now to a 5. And we can combine some like terms in here, knowing that if we distribute, we're going to wind up with 12x cubed plus 3x squared minus 16x cubed all over 4x plus 1 to the 5th. And finally, we need to combine this 12x squared and this negative 16x cubed, cube terms. 12 and negative 6, I'll go up here, we'll wind up with negative 4x cubed plus 3x squared all over the quantity of 4x plus 1 to the 5th. And there's our simplified derivative. Okay, one more example, and it's going to deal with big parentheses here, because when we multiply by the derivative of the inside, we'll have another quotient rule. So this is another one with a quotient rule and chain. Okay, so again, the derivative of the whole thing, so f prime here, that's going to be 2 3x minus 1 all over x squared plus 3 to the first times the derivative of the inside. Now the derivative of the inside is your quotient rule. So again, that's bottom x squared plus 3 times the derivative of the top, 3, minus the top, 3x minus 1, derivative of the bottom, 2x, all over the bottom squared, x squared plus 3. Alright, so now cleaning this up algebraically. Again, calc was one step. Now we got to do all the simplifying with just basic algebra. I'm going to distribute the 2. So I'm going to have 6x minus 2 all over x squared plus 3. And then on the top here, I got to distribute. So I'm going to have 3x squared plus 9. And then I'm going to distribute here, not forgetting the subtraction going on here. I'm going to have minus 6x squared plus 2x. So on the top, when I combine these like terms here, I'm going to have minus 3x squared plus 2x plus 9. And I have x squared plus 3 squared. Now the only thing left I could do here that I'm going to need to do is just multiply these fractions out across the top. So I have 6x minus 2, negative 3x squared plus 2x plus 9. And then when I multiply across on the bottom, I've got like bases, so I can add the exponents here. So I'm going to have x squared plus 3 cubed. So there's 4 quick examples of the chain rule, and hopefully that'll match up with the notes that you had in class.